Hi, it's Lady Jane here, and a bit of off-road foraging today. So we've been up having a look at Ayrsham Hall antiques and the tea rooms. This stuff here is in flower at the minute. It's called Jack of the Hedge. So this little plant here is it's known as being mustard garlic, and it is absolutely delicious when it's young like this, pan-fried with a little bit of salt and chilli, just chili flakes, just in some oil, and it is so tasty. And there's plenty of it in a lot of roadside berries at the minute. And this one here is what we used to know as cleavers or sticky willy. Now that can be quite nice for some things too, and quite refreshing in drinks. So I'm going to pull some of this, but I'm also after some Alexanders. So I've got a really good nice pile of Jack of the Hedge here. I'm going to have some of these. And luckily I've got a little knife from work in my pocket. So I'm just going to cut a few of these off. This stuff is a weed, edible weeds, and grows like stink. But typically doesn't tend to come up in the same place each year. It seems to be, I think it's every 2 years. I'll have a few of these because I love this stuff. Right, so here you go. I have got my Jack of the Hedge, wild mustard garlic. It's not as garlicky as wild garlic, although it is a wild garlic, if you know what I mean. Not the same type of wild garlic, and it wilts down a lot and disappears. It's not actually that much of it, although it's everywhere down here. There's tons of it, so nobody's going to miss that. I mean, that's all more at this roadside, and it's just everywhere. Anyway, this stuff, if we put it in a glass of water, will quite happily live in the window ledge in the kitchen for several days. It keeps quite well that way. Leave it out of water, it'll be gone and shriveled up in a few hours. I'm just going to go and get some Alexanders. Actually, I've just spotted something else. This is a great time of year for this. So, this one here is ground ivy. And it's a bit like thyme. So it works really well for drying and using in place of thyme. And you can use the flowers off it too. So it's great in chicken dishes and pizza and all sorts of different things. And it's really quite yummy, so I'm going to have a good day, dead easy on one bit of roadside. I'm going to have to put some of this down in a minute before I get any more. So what I want to show you up close is how many things we've got here that we can eat, just in the case of a couple of feet. So, nettles, and we've got red dead nettles. So red dead nettles are not stingy. We've got chickweed, and we've got cleavers, and we've got ordinary nettles, and ground ivy, and dandelions, which can make a good salad. You know, there's just loads of stuff for here. We don't really want these ones. That's Lord and Ladies, which can be highly toxic, although they do eat it in some countries depending if it's properly cooked, but we don't want to touch that one. And again, these things look like carrots. They could easily be deadly hemlock, so yeah, leave them alone, they're too dodgy. But there's so many good things in such a short area here. There is your Jack of the Hedge. That actually makes some seriously good eating. Right, this stuff here is Alexanders. Grows in the Norfolk and Suffolk coastline, and as you can see, it's already well up. Now, when the seeds of these dry, they become like black hard seeds later on in the summer. You can actually use the seeds as well and grind them, kind of like you would salt and pepper as a flavouring. It's kind of a bit sort of, it's part of the celery family. You can see it kind of looks a bit celery-like. And when it's young, it's quite good for a lot of different things. But at this stage here, what I actually want is these stalks for making chutney, because it makes the most incredible chutney. Now, that there is young versions of these. So I'll have some younger stuff and some older stuff this stuff actually grows like wildfire. It's blooming annoying if you get it in your garden or anything, because you'll not get rid of it, but it makes some really good chutney. Tasting it on its own, some people eat it like this or in salads. I find it incredibly bitter, probably a bit sort of, I don't know, shard. I don't like shard, I can't even really explain it. It's bitter, I don't like it, but I do like it cooked. There you go, there's masses of it, absolutely masses of it. Be in trouble for taking too long. I've got some more, so we're going to put it in the back of the van, take it home, and tonight cook it up on the wood burner. I spotted another one. Right, this one is three-cornered lake. Yeah, very garlicky. So this is the road that pretty much goes from New Buckingham through to Wattlefield, and my Alexanders that I got the other week were rubbish because I didn't get time to do it and they all died. But they were past it by the time I went to use it, and I just spotted some more driving past the side of the road. Only these get big sort of yellow flowers, and the seed heads in autumn go black, and you can use them kind of like you would pepper in a grinder, part of the celery family. I didn't get any and I want to make chutney. Well, I did get them, so I just did too many jobs to do. By the time I got round to it, got back that night, I had other things to do. I never get used round to doing anything with it, and it went in the bin, which is a bit of a waste. But this stuff is invasive, so it doesn't actually really matter. And at this point, we're nowhere near seeding, so I don't need to even worry about taking it home and it seeding everywhere, because it won't. It comes into nice sort of yellow flowers when it's out. But I'm going to cut some more of this. You can use both the leaves and the stalks. So there's younger stuff here, which is really nice and green and leafy, which you can use in stews and casseroles and stuff like that. And then I like using the stems in a chutney. So maybe this week will be a bit better luck. So I'm going to shove some of this in the back of the car and then head down the road and go and get some. There's something else in here. I've seen some young hogweed. Hogweed's tasty too. So it just goes to show you how much stuff you can forage for free once you know what you're looking for. So that one, that's hogweed. You get common hogweed and you get giant hogweed, and there's quite distinct differences between the two in the stems and the leaves actually, but a lot of people find them very similar when you don't know what you're looking for. Common hogweed is pretty common, and the giant hogweed is highly poisonous. Once you know what you're looking for, it's pretty easy, to be honest. And the shoots, when they come into flower on the common hogweed, are a bit like broccoli, and they're really tasty. And where I am at the moment, as you can see, is the side of a country road, but it's not somewhere that you're going to get people walking dogs, so you aren't going to get any way. Because nobody likes that, do they? Given this is kind of older stuff, as you can see, and I don't want to use the leaves off that, I'd rather have the leaves off the young green stuff. Rather than take all this home, I'm just going to cut off all the bits that I don't want, because they might as well stay here, because I'm in for the stems on these ones. And then I'll take some of the young leaves. You don't take it all, we want it to be able to pollinate again, although most places will be happy to get rid of this stuff because it grows like wildfire. Obviously some kind of car event on today. And all of a sudden there's a load of that forest miners or whatever it is coming along. There's some more coming in a minute. Anyway, I've grabbed a good armful of young Alexanders. Alright, so I've decided I've got a good armful of the young stuff so I can use the stalks and the leaves. And there's a load of Morris miners or whatever. There's obviously some kind of car event come today. And they're all coming past. And it's quite cute. I'll turn it round, you can see it. See if we can raise them to it. There you go. Loads of waving. I'm in the ass end of nowhere. Hi! They're all waving and got their flags out. Every single one of them. There you go. Yeah, there's one person walking up that road and maybe a pile of reeds. It's just Norfolk. But it's kind of special, don't you think? So I've come a walk down Wood. It's lovely down here. It's quite pretty. I think it's Norfolk Wildlife Trust property. Anyway, you can smell it already. There's so much wild garlic here. It's all coming into flower and budding. It's a pretty little wood. Lots of fallen trees and things. And where you see all these white flowers coming up behind me, these are wild garlic. And it's very adult, mature state. So past the point where, it's mature, it's quite far on now. It's not as good as when it's young, but you can still use it at all stages. The flowers are all now out. These are wild garlic flowers. You can pickle them while they're still in bud state. There's bud state there. There's lots of nice things to look at down here. This stuff and mixed through it is dog's mercury. That's not much good for anything. There's lots of it coming up. So what happens is dog's mercury grows up really fast and completely dwarfs the wild garlic, and then you can't get to it. Dog's mercury is toxic. The wild garlic's still under there, but this is when it starts dying off. And that there is Lords and Ladies, which is toxic, but it's pretty. When it grows up, you can see the buds, they'll go red and then go right. But it's pretty, really pretty. Lovely to look at. It's getting strong now. Lots of it down here. When it's near the edges of the path, there's still some young stuff. And I just need a handful to die. But it's worth having. So just nip off a few of the young ones, because most of them are big and woody now. So take a few from the pathway. You don't need too much. Strong.